Hello there. How are you doing? It's Craig at Fludded here to do a quick kind of chat, I think. More a chat. When I say a chat, you're not going to talk because you're not here. Wish you were. But I want to talk about Doctor Who and the episode The Star Beast, part of the Doctor Who 60th, I think. We're introduced to the Who-universe. Ha ha ha. So everyone else has got a verse. Why shouldn't Doctor Who? And I'll try and go through quickly the story. By the way, this will be spoilers and all, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it first before you hear my opinion about it. And I've got some, but let me do it from memory. Doctor arrives in London, starts skipping about to happy-go-lucky music, finds, seemingly by coincidence, the character Rose, played by Catherine Tate. We're then introduced to Rosie's daughter. What's her name? Played by Yasmin Finney, which is a girl's name, so is obviously a female actor. And we're introduced to Rose. And Rose then chats to them, and they all chat. Rose is somebody who makes cuddly toys. She's got a bag of eyes. She's just been buying a bag of eyes because she makes really infantile. The character Rose looks like she's in her 20s, but I think we're supposed to think she's like 13 or 14 because she's making these cuddly toys, which turn out to be really badly made, like they're made by a real infant. Anyway, I'm going to try and not be too negative about this thing, but carrying on with the plot, the Doctor wonders why he's been sort of summoned back to London, why he's got the face he's got, why is he being brought back to Rose, and then they see a spaceship, and a spaceship crashes to Earth. I think it's crashing, but when we see it, it's actually been lowered carefully into a factory or a warehouse. It's had stairs built around it, and it's all this is all happening within like hours. So the spaceship lands. Doctor realizes that this is not an automated system, therefore somebody was on it. They need to look for an escape pod. We then introduced to Unit Scientific Advisor number 56, Shirley Ann Bingham. The Doctor is Scientific Advisor number 1, so presumably he outranks her. She, of course, is in a wheelchair. Which is very odd because she is seemingly in charge of this operation around the spaceship, but she can't do stairs. She's got no agility, limited mobility. They're not busily fitting ramps like they should do for her so she can get everywhere. And everyone seems to be apologizing to her a lot of time. All the other soldiers, oh, sorry, there's the stairs, sorry. Oh, what have we forgotten? It's like, well, yeah, you should have fitted a lift. God, you got to consider everybody. So we meet the scientific advisor. It doesn't seem to really have any role, but just to be a step behind the Doctor all the time. The Doctor then jumps into a truck to go and find the escape pod with the crew are going to find the escape pod. The truck he's jumped into. Meanwhile, the crew are... meanwhile, these unit soldiers go up to the spaceship and they are injected... If their eyes are injected with... Was it solar psychedelia or something, which makes them into maniacs, apparently. And they then all have glowing eyes, laser eyes, which they then turn around and start marching. By the way, women can be soldiers too, just so you know. That is in there. We must have representation of women in the army. It's very important because I'd prefer it if there weren't any men in the army. So that's what happens. We then have they all start marching around in some sort of uniform. Even though they're maniacs, they're all marching 2 by 2 in very uniform way. Meanwhile, Rose finds a little cute cuddly toy. Little E.T. like character, and E.T. is everyone's going to compare this to E.T. in a little bit of it'll come to me. Another film, and decides to like try and rescue it, and for some reason because she likes cute things, takes it into the shed. Is it the shed or her room? I'm not even sure. We then see the E.T. scene recreated where they're hiding E.T. with all the cuddly toys. And then Donna appears with the mother and the husband. Donna is married, I think it's probably happened in the previous episode, marries a cabbie. Everyone's working class and poor in this, ending up being the heroes. All the messages are running through from being made by people, by the way, are absolutely loaded. So that's what happens. We're in the shed, and then everyone comes around and goes, "Oh, there's an alien." The alien says, "Oh, meet, but I'm cute." And then we get the pronouns conversation where the doctor assumes the pronouns. Like that is even time that anyone would spend when you have an alien. It's like, don't assume the gender of that alien. But the doctor does, bastard. And of course, what's the character called? Yasmin Finney, Rose. Points out, of course, it has to be from Rose, who's the trans actor. Points out to the doctor, you can't assume, don't you assume? Isn't it interesting how even when you are surrounded by spaceships flying and crashing into Earth, aliens being discovered behind dustbins, even then, you're still obsessing about whether somebody's using the correct pronouns or not. It is so weird. And for there are going to be people who are watching this and thinking, it's so great that television is doing this now and they're reflecting the culture that we live in and the society we live in now. It's so great. So great. And there'll be people who'll be like, oh, I hate it. And it is because there'll be the TERF argument about, it's misogynistic. Women are women, adult females. But as we find out later on, Rose is not, in fact, what's the line? It was excellent. I'm neither male nor female. I'm all. So Rose is all. So that'll be my pronoun that I give Rose. I choose my pronouns that I use. So Rose is all. So all goes to what happens there. So they find the cuddly toy, and obviously immediately you've got a little bit of a Gremlins. That was the name of the film. You got a Gremlins situation going to be arising. It's too cute, and you just know this is going to be the baddie. So there's no surprises when suddenly the eyes go all like that, and the teeth get you know what's coming. We've seen it before in Gremlins, so we've seen a scene. We know we've got that scene coming. It comes. We've had the scene from E.T. We've also had a scene from, what was it that reminded me of? The Crossfire scene reminded me a little bit of Star Wars. I think Force Awakens. Anyway, so the story's nearly over, by the way. We've worked it all out. These other creatures called, and I had to look at the credits to find out how to, I thought they were Rolf warriors, like as in Rolf Harris warriors. Turns out they're Ararth warriors, or Rorth warriors. I'm going to call them Rolf Harris warriors. So they're the big bug-eyed bug insect type guys with the stun guns. And you notice that as the Rose and the doctor and the family are escaping. By the way, the mum and the husband really don't have much to say or do. The husband is just treated like he's an idiot. He just sort of sits there and does not do what a dad would probably do if his kid was about to be killed or under threat. Just, it's all from the mum. Men are rubbish, by the way, if you hadn't realised. They really suck. They make terrible soldiers. They make terrible fathers. Men suck. That's one of the messages in the show. Men don't suck. We're awesome. By the way, keep hearing the term every time Rose is referred to when she's not there. She's called beautiful. Rose is a beautiful daughter. Sorry, all is a beautiful daughter. Beautiful. And beautiful. She's got a beautiful daughter, even though you can't really say daughter because that assumes the gender. It's all beautiful, all. Thank you very much. That's a good point, isn't it? We keep saying beautiful daughter, and it's like, well, all is saying that all is neither male or female, and daughter is definitely a gendered word. So should you really be using the word daughter? BBC, hello, wake up, hello, it's 2023. So anyway, they all, I don't know what's happened. They escape, and then as we all see that these lasers are not doing any damage to anything, it's like watching Star Wars all over again. These lasers have been fired willy-nilly, and the doctor feels the pulse of one soldier. Turns out the soldier is still, well, we don't find out, not immediately. But their lasers are pinging off the taxi, and there's no windows been smashed or anything. It's very, very obvious that this is like, you're not in any danger here at all. These are these are firecrackers they're firing. So they all escape, and they go into an underground car park, and then the bizarrest thing happens where he suddenly pulls, he's a magician now, the doctor, he can produce, under his coat, he's got infinite amount of props. He produces a wig, bizarrely, puts it on his hat, a courtroom wig, like he's a lawyer, and then he can teleport people from, or things. If he can teleport stuff, why didn't he teleport them out of there into the car park? It just was so stupid. And then these Rolf Harris monsters turn up, two of them, and for some reason don't immediately start shooting. They just stand there like idiots. And the little cute monster creature, cuddly toy creature, which I'm sure has been created just for Christmas presents. They have like a courtroom session. The doctor sort of makes weird points out what we've already know. By the way, we've got Sikhs. Sikhs can be soldiers too. It's very important everyone realizes that. If you didn't realize that, the show makes it very clear. I would prefer all soldiers were Sikhs. And I think it's disgusting that so many shows in the past have not, when they've shown soldiers, pointed out that sometimes they can be Sikhs. I think it's very important that we flag that so that Sikhs do not feel like they're being excluded from being soldiers. Thanks to BBC and Doctor Who for making us all aware that Sikhs can be soldiers. We now know that Sikhs can be shoulders, thanks to Doctor Who. I think I said shoulders then. Sikhs cannot be shoulders. They can be soldiers. Very important that everybody realises that. Men suck, though, but Sikh men don't suck. That's the important message that you all have to learn. So the lasers were not affecting anything. It was a court seat. And we learned from the Rolf Harris warriors that the Meep kind, there was a big battle. All the Meep were captured. The Galactic Council. Meep captured everybody, did bad things. They beheaded and ate their enemies. The Rolf Harris warriors were out to chase this last remaining Meep leader. The Meep, by the way, doesn't have any pronouns. You prefer to use the definitive article, which is weird. So what do the other Meeps do? They can't all be Meeps, can they? Why don't we always just say all? Forget pronouns altogether. In fact, let's just reinvent the whole English language. So obviously the twist happens where the Meep reveals himself to be a gremlin. A big... why is there another two-headed heart? So this is what the doctor does in order to save the family from being killed by Meep, the Meep. He says, this is taking most of the bloody review, just telling you what happened. Goodness gracious me. Why, don't kill them, don't kill me, because you'll never work out why I was drawn to this planet at the same time as the Rolf Harris warriors. So it decides to keep them alive, but then proceeds to not do anything to investigate what the doctor had suggested, like it was that important. Mobility issues are a huge problem in this because the meep guy cannot really move very fast or well. Has a huge throne made for him out of the blue. Don't know where that came from. They then get to the ship. The ship, by the way, whoever designed the dagger drive, whatever it's called, were an idiot. The ship, only way it can take off is by it destroying the planet it's taking off from, pretty much, or certainly destroying 50 square miles and everybody around. So don't be around when these ships take off. You're definitely going to die. So this becomes the new stakes. The Doctor has to save London. Probably a bad idea, but now I would probably let London just, be quite good when one of these ships landed in London, because it really could do with a little bit of a switcheroo down in London. So the Meep is a stupid little creature. It goes into the top of the spaceship. All the zombie soldiers who've all got their solar psychedelic eyes are just obeying, and he's obviously somehow. We never find out what this entity is in the ship that did that to them. Do we? I don't think we did. Anyway, the Doctor then jumps on the ship and tries to immobilize the ship. For some reason, a big wall comes down and separates Rose and the Doctor, which is stupid. But I know why they did it, because they had to make it that the Doctor isn't the hero, Rose is the hero, because men suck. And it was about time that we all realised that. And the Doctor should be a female character, although there is no such thing as male and female anymore. There's just all. We're just people. And so Rose thinks, even though she's going to die, she saves the ship. But she doesn't die, of course. The Doctor's cradling her in his arms, and she is going to be fine. And then everything starts reversing. All the cracks going across London start healing up again, bizarrely. So I'm not quite sure what energy or systems in place to make concrete and, the strata of the planet rock joining back together again. But that apparently happens. That would require, I think, more energy than the energy to break it. But that is what happens with this amazing spaceship. When you stop the engine, everything heals up that it broke. So that's that. Everyone's happy. We then have a bit. I think we then get the lecture. We find out that. By the way, they then send the Meep off into space. No, they don't. They send him up into the air and then parachutes down. So presumably he's arrested. Well, he is arrested. Rose, the meta crisis has been passed down to her. We find out from Donna. Oh, by the way, Donna is now the Dr. Donna. I think Dr. Donna is one word, as in a kebab. And there will be a Dr. Donna kebab. I love kebabs. I recommend you eat them. Doctors can be kebabs as well. People need to remember that and stop being so binary when it comes to kebabs. I'm neither male nor female. I'm all. Nobody died when roads cracked up. I'm neither male nor female. I'm all, she says. Meep says, I will escape and wait till I tell the boss. And we're supposed to wonder who the boss is. I think it's Chewbacca. We can't be sure, but it might be. It could be anybody. It could be, who knows, the Emperor. I think it's Chewbacca, though, or some sort of llama-like creature. We can't be sure, though. There's been no indication that it's going to be Chewbacca, but I wouldn't be surprised. This is Disney now, so why not cross over with Star Wars and have Chewbacca as the king of the Meeps? And then we get a little line which made me want to smash my face in, and everybody else is around me. Something a male presenting Time Lord will never understand was said out of my mother's television speaker into my ears, and I really was not. I was thinking this is stop giving projects like this to these activists. You foolish channel. You're going to lose all of your funding if you don't get a grip of yourselves, because people don't like it. Stop having a go at men. Something a male presenting Time Lord presenting as male. We let it go. They do let it go, and then lots of stuff happens after. And after all these years, I'm finally me. Oh, I remember that the Meep calls Rose the weird daughter, and she rolls her eyes. You would give a damn about. It's really interesting. You can be literally on the chopping block, and then somebody in the crowd could misgender you or use the wrong pronouns, and you'd be distracted and upset about it, rather than the fact you're just about to have your head chopped off. It is such a weird ideology that we're operating amongst now. They enter the new TARDIS, and it's like a big white. Didn't really care about it. I'm sure lots of people were going mental. I quite liked that they did keep the center consoles a little bit steampunk, kind of like that. Noticed it. Did not like the Doctor using the term "it's gorgeous." I don't know. I just think there's a lot of feminizing of male characters in Disney now, and I see this as Disney, not BBC. I think just on reflection, the family, or the worst family ever. Never have I wanted a family in a TV show to be ended as quickly as I wanted this family to be ended. What a dysfunctional bunch of morons. You got mother gibbering around, running around. Where's her father? You've got the husband who's a taxi driver who says next to nothing and doesn't do anything to protect his family. You've got the mother who just screams and yells at everybody and seems very annoyed generally, will do anything to save her daughter. But I think her daughter would have really done well if she had kept the lottery money. But of course, there were people who are... What did you say? People who are in pain, she said? People in danger, pain and fear. Who wrote this? It's a mess. From a technical point of view, I'm going to put a little video out on TikTok or something where I break down some of the directing, or ad directing faux pas I noticed. Sorry to draw attention to negative things that happen in it. But I will, because that's what I do. I like to look at things from sort of how things get made from an insider point of view, as I work in the industry. What did I think of this Doctor Who? I just think that there is this ridiculous obsession with sort of, the whole LGBT plus alphabet community is a kind of just taken over the central thinking process of making this show. Everything is centered around that. It is bizarre. It's been completely captured by it. And in the same way, as I said before, if somebody had their head on the chopping block, the misuse of pronouns would be a distraction and make them really mad. They wouldn't be concerned about having their heads chopped off. And this is what is happening with the show. People are just obsessing about this one thing, and it's so going to go away. It's going to go away. Everybody, transgender people are here and they're here to stay. There you go. So get along with them or don't get along with them. Do whatever you want. There's no reason. The only reason you wouldn't get along with a transgender person is if they're obnoxious to you. Just like as though you wouldn't get along with a Scottish person if they're awful or obnoxious. So everyone's fine with people being transgender. I don't know what the issue is. What people don't like is being told what language to use. And been told what to, you must pretend that I am not what you know I am. So this is this whole TERF argument, and it's very difficult for, and it's all done under the threat of cancellation. It's all done under the threat of violence if you're out in the street and meet these people, or it's done under the threat of being cancelled if you've got a job, or it's done under the threat of being seriously abused online. It's up to you if you want to do it. But we all know what a woman is, and it's very important. Women worked very hard and fought, for decades to get the power to vote and to assert themselves as adult human females. And now it just seems to be taken away with lots of men saying that they are them now. So, I don't want any hatred to go towards transgender people, but I think that activists and the people who are acting as activists, if this is what BBC wants us to talk about, which it seems, rather than talk about your show, you want us talking about this, okay. But if this activists are not doing transgender people any favours whatsoever, and transgender people should be mad by what transgender activists and activists acting on behalf of transgender people are doing, because they're misrepresenting them massively. There's transgender people in my supermarket, and nobody bats an eyelid or thinks about it or comments about it or does anything. The only time people think about it or comment about it is when it's rammed in your face and you're told off for not using the correct pronoun. So that's where I'm at with this new Doctor Who show. All looks brilliant. The music I didn't like at the start, and I think I like it now. It's an amalgamation of Bad Wolf with BBC Studios Productions, Disney, and the BBC. So it's a mishmash. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with the Disney links. If you haven't seen it, don't bother watching it. It's not very good. I would give this like 3 out of 10. And I feel really bad for all the technicians and all the experts. And I counted 48 visual effects artists that worked on it. Just a massive battery of people trying to make these effects works. Now, if Doctor Who was a weekly show, they wouldn't be able to keep the effects up to that standard, because we're seeing that in the Marvel films. They're just turning out so many TV shows and splinter programs. Effects departments can't keep up, and it all looks a bit crap. So, terrible writing. Directing was okay. Couple of mistakes. Everything else just looked all right. It was all a bit close. I think the acting was pretty poor. The all who played Rose was just rubbish. Can't act. The father didn't have anything to do. I also thought David Tennant he was trying so hard to keep it all together, but it was just OTT. I also thought Catherine Tate was turning into a little bit of who's that old lady character that she does, Gran Nan or whatever. I think she started to sound a little bit like her, and I don't know. I just think I also think this is for a much younger audience. So people in their 50s like me, 40s, 30s, whinging about what's happened to Doctor Who. You like Doctor Who, we like Doctor Who when you were in your like teens and your 20s. That's not really changed. People in the teens and 20s will probably love this, because this is a message that they all are on board with. It doesn't happen. What happens when you get to your 30s or 40s? You start realizing, this is all a bit silly. Anyway, what did you think of it? How offended have you been by my comment on the message? How disappointed are you that this TV show has been turned into a political tool? Because that's how it feels a little bit to me. Let me know down below. Be nice. Nasty comments, because there's a lot of controversy in this. Either don't make it through or just get immediately deleted and you won't be able to comment again. So just try and be decent. Try not to call people names. And I look forward to hearing and seeing what people say. Have a lovely day. Take care of yourselves. Cheerio.